Warning, this entire video is going to discuss spoilers for Marvel's Black Panther. If you have not seen this movie yet, I would ask that you please turn off this video now, ask yourself why you haven't seen this epic flick yet, go see it in theaters, and then come back and check out this spoiler discussion vid. You have been warned. Greetings and salutations, world. I am the Bearded Con Man, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my spoiler discussion of Marvel's Black Panther. I've already done a movie review, which does not contain any spoilers. If you want to check that out, I did it with Everyday Joel. The link to that video, as well as the video on his channel, will be in the description of this video below. All right, so let's start this discussion off with the things that I enjoyed the most about this movie. The villains. Andy freaking Serkis as Ulysses Klaue was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant as the unhinged, just doesn't take anything seriously wild man that was Ulysses Klaue. He absolutely nailed it. And I'm gonna piss off some DC fans out there, but guys, he did a better job as a Joker type character than Jared Leto in Suicide Squad. Singing What Is Love, talking about his mixtape, which I need to see, guys. That needs to happen. Marvel, can you please bring us Ulysses Klaue's mixtape? I would listen to that backwards to front over and over again. And last but most definitely, absolutely certainly not least, Michael B. Jordan as Eric Killmonger. One of the absolute best Marvel villains to date. He was compelling, you understood where he was coming from, you even agreed with him on a lot of points, but he was still blinded by a lifetime of trauma and rage that his methods and his ultimate final execution were the reasons why he was wrong. He was the villain and he had to be stopped. He was amazing. M'Baku. Dude, M'Baku was the biggest surprise of this movie. I figured, if you're familiar with the character, M'Baku is the leader of the Jabari tribe within Wakanda that lives in the mountains. Now, I thought M'Baku was just going to be a supporting character. It was going to set him up to be a villain, kind of like the always there kind of threat to T'Challa and Wakanda, but he wasn't. He was the begrudging nemesis at first, and then he ultimately became the begrudging ally. And he was amazing. Winston Duke was absolutely stellar as M'Baku. He was menacing, and then he was unexpectedly hilarious. I loved his role. And he had some of the best lines in the movie too. I loved that character, and I cannot wait to see more of him in Avengers Infinity War. I'm hoping and praying that he somehow crosses paths with Korg. Can you imagine those two? Like, here's a scenario for you, right? Korg is giving this rousing speech about revolution, maybe against Thanos and the Black Order, like, you know, a call to arms more or less. And M'Baku is standing right there next to him. And maybe someone tries to interrupt Korg during this rousing speech. And M'Baku just goes, "Oh, oh, oh, oh!" I want to see that team up. I need to see that team up. Please, Marvel, make it happen. Now, I feel like it's a cop-out to say that Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa Black Panther was my favorite. And I knew he was a solid Black Panther from what we saw in Civil War. He was fantastic, and he already set the stage and the bar. And I feel like it was just continued to build upon within Black Panther. He absolutely shined. If I want to be honest with myself, my favorite character was Okoye, played by Danai Gurira. She was amazing. She actually had more impressive fight scenes than T'Challa as Black Panther. I mean, just the flipping of the spear, the casino scene, the chase through South Korea after Klaue, where she jumps out and she's got her spear and she lands it in the ground. Amazing as the general and the leader of the Dora Milaje. Oh, she was so good. This might be my favorite scene, to be completely honest with you. When T'Challa crosses over into the ancestral plane and sees and talks to his father, T'Chaka. Chadwick Boseman killed it. You felt that pain and heartbreak, that he felt like he failed his father. He failed to protect him. It just broke your heart to just see this heartwarming moment between father and son. And that music that plays, that dun, 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 dun. Oh, sucker punch right in the feels, guys. It really got me. It was emotional, it was beautiful, it was amazing. That might be my favorite part of the movie. Now that I've given you the things that I absolutely enjoyed from this film, I'm gonna talk about the things I didn't like. Claw dies, Killmonger dies, and the CGI devolves into about the equivalent of a PS3 cinematic. And I knew that Killmonger was going to be the ultimate villain of this film, but I thought for sure that Claw maybe was going to be set up in this film. You know, we were going to get to know him a little bit more, and they were going to set him up as a future villain down the road. But to kill him off, and in such an unceremonious way, it was surprising and disappointing. I honestly thought that Killmonger was going to bring Claw to Wakanda and they were going to lock him up. And that was going to set the stage for him to return in 2, maybe even 3. But the fact that he got killed off, didn't like that. Didn't like that at all. And that's just because I want to see so much more of that character. All of that to be said, there is still a possibility that he can return. If you're familiar with the comics, Claw actually does die in the comics, but he returns as a being of pure sound, and he becomes an even greater threat because he's this powerful sound being. So could you imagine, with the CGI work, the brilliance of CGI that is Andy Serkis in that type of role? But I digress. I was bummed that Claw died. Now, I am not going to diminish the absolutely beautiful and heartbreaking death scene for Eric Killmonger in this film. He says one of the greatest lines in the entire movie, and it's beautiful because, you know, at that moment, T'Challa and Killmonger were on the same page, and they shared that moment together, with Killmonger finally getting to see the sunset that his father talked so much about, and T'Challa realizing in many facets how much Wakanda failed Killmonger, and they created this monster. It was a great death scene, but I feel that Killmonger is a great villain, and I was hoping, you know, with Spider-Man Homecoming, with not killing the villain off, we would leave the door open in future Marvel films for even more villains to return. Now again, just like with Claw, if you're familiar with the comics, Killmonger actually does die and brought back to life. I feel like within the Marvel universe, nothing is impossible, especially in the comics. People die and come back all the time. I wouldn't say that we've seen the last of Eric Killmonger just yet. This is the most nitpicky thing. I need to see the movie another time just to make sure that I'm right, but as of the recording of this video, that was really the only thing where I was like, that could be polished up a little bit. I need to see the movie another time just to make sure that I'm right, but as of the recording of this video, that was really the only thing where I was like, that could be polished up a little bit. That's it, guys. Those are the only things that I didn't like about this movie. This movie was amazing. I absolutely loved it. All right, now that we've knocked out all of my favorite stuff, we're gonna talk Easter eggs. First one being, I don't know if you guys caught it or not, but young King T'Chaka from 1992 in the film is actually played by John Connie's actual son, Atandwa Connie. So that's why they looked so similar. It's literally the son of the actor who played King T'Chaka. We also find out that the movie takes place exactly 1 week after the events of Captain America Civil War. We also get a little bit more insight on what happened with Zemo, that he got his just desserts. He was found guilty as the one solely responsible for the attack on the UN, and Bucky's name was not mentioned anywhere. So the movie did a nice little exposition in telling us that Bucky's name has been cleared. T'Challa's self-lacing boots, which are made by Shuri, they have a nice little back and forth, and they talk about how it seems like something out of a movie that their father used to watch, which is a direct reference to, of course, Back to the Future Part 2 and the power lace Nikes that Marty McFly wears. that was a pretty fun little reference. And of course, Stan Lee's cameo. I was wondering how they were gonna work him in, and they worked him in beautifully in that casino scene. That might be one of my absolute favorite cameos by Stan Lee. Then the big one, the after credits scene with Bucky being awake and clearly having the brainwashing by Hydra removed from his mind. Now there's one other piece from that scene that you may have heard but didn't realize the implications of. The children call him in Wakandan White Wolf. Now this could be a fun little reference because in many ways it does relate to who Bucky is as the Winter Soldier, or it could be a direct reference to the character White Wolf from the comics. In many ways is an adopted son by the Wakandan royal family and goes on to even be the leader of Wakandan's secret police. So it's entirely possible, guys, that Bucky may not take up the mantle of Captain America like we thought. He may become White Wolf. And that is a really cool, unexpected little change. Alright guys, that's going to do it for my spoiler edition review and discussion of Marvel's Black Panther. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like on this video and subscribe today. I am the Bearded Con Man, and remember, Beard, be exceptional and rad dudes. We'll see you next time. Goes, oh!